After I was kidnapped, my family was relieved. It had been a mistake. The kidnappers were after my sister, Bella. When the police rescued me, I was covered in blood. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. The doctors called it emotional indifference syndrome. I simply couldn't feel anything anymore. When I returned home from the hospital, the house was empty. No furniture, no family. The housekeeper told me they'd moved. At the new address, I found them at the dinner table. "Why didn't you tell me you were moving?" I asked. "Bella's been having nightmares about being kidnapped," Mom said casually. "We thought the old house had bad energy." The table was full of Bella's favorite dishes. I was bandaged and limping, but no one seemed to notice. Bella leaned over. "I was too scared to visit you. Don't blame me, okay?" Before I could answer, Dad interrupted. "Your sisters understand each other." Bella laughed and put shrimp in my bowl. "I'm allergic to shrimp." No one remembered. "My name is Arya. I was raised by my grandparents because a fortune teller said my fate was bad. My parents barely visited. After my grandparents died, they brought me home, but it never felt like home." Bella had insisted on a shortcut through an alley the day I was kidnapped. Then she disappeared to find a restroom. I was taken. The kidnappers thought I was Bella. When my family refused to pay, they tortured me for 3 days. I couldn't even scream. The police arrived just as they were about to undress me. My family never showed up. In the hospital, no one visited. At home, they acted like I was invisible. "Which room is mine?" I asked. "The others aren't set up yet," Mom replied. Bella added, "Don't blame them. They're busy." I said nothing and went upstairs. Later that evening, Noah came home. He's adopted, but Bella and I call him brother. I once imagined he'd protect me, but he always took Bella's side. When he saw me, his face said everything, disdain. He handed me a gift I had made for him, a jade pendant. "Take it back," he snapped. I simply said, "Throw it away." I tossed the pendant in the trash and left. Everyone at the table froze. This Arya wasn't who they knew. When I returned, Mom and Dad were waiting. Dad said, "The Cloud family's youngest son is back from abroad. You should meet him. If someone could protect you, we'd feel better." I usually rejected their blind dates. They only wanted to protect Bella's relationship with Noah. But I agreed this time. "When?" I asked. They were stunned. "Tomorrow. Noon. At the Cloud Corporation's restaurant." I nodded and left. "She's acting strange," Dad whispered. "We'll have the housekeeper watch her," Mom said. If only she were more like Bella. I smiled to myself. In their eyes, Bella was their only daughter. The next day I met Zach. He stood by his car, lighting a cigarette but not smoking. Trying to look cool. When he saw me, he smirked. "You're Arya? Heard you've turned down a lot of people." "Hard to turn them down when I never met them," I replied. "What do you think of arranged marriages?" he asked. "Doesn't matter. My family decides everything." He smiled. "You and I are alike." He raised his glass to toast. I pushed mine away. "Let's eat first." He watched me curiously, then nodded. I had hoped to meet an idiot. Instead, I found someone too clever. That night, my parents messaged me. The Cloud family liked me. They wanted the marriage arranged soon. I had only hoped to avoid more blind dates. But now, I was in deeper than I'd planned. I may not have emotions, but my logic told me I should be exasperated right now. When Bella found out the Cloud family had actually taken a liking to me, she couldn't sit still. She had always thought she was superior to me in every way, with even Noah unconditionally on her side. But if I really formed a connection with the Cloud family, her sense of superiority would completely disappear. So when I got home, I saw my parents looking very serious. Completely different from how happy they were when messaging me, they now seemed full of anxiety. Bella had fallen ill. Noah was supposed to go on a business trip, but when he heard the news, he immediately canceled his flight and rushed home to be with Bella. I asked what was wrong and found out Bella had been having frequent nightmares lately. The atmosphere in the house was so heavy, as if she was on the verge of death. But it was just some trouble sleeping. I remembered how things were the day I was discharged from the hospital. Talk about polar opposites. Arya, Bella starts thinking about almost being kidnapped whenever she sees you. She can't eat or sleep properly. Mom began. "If I remember correctly, I was the one who actually got kidnapped," I pointed out. "Should I be angry?" I didn't know. My heart felt like a dead pond, and I just had a headache. "But you're fine, aren't you? Bella's different from you. She's never experienced anything like this before, and she's very sensitive. Why don't you stay somewhere else for a while?" Mom suggested. I looked up at the tightly closed door on the second floor. Bella was telling me that no matter what, no matter what I achieved, Mom and Dad would always love her unconditionally. Understood, I said, heading upstairs. Mom got very nervous. What are you doing? Bella hasn't slept for days. She finally just fell asleep, don't go disturb her. I raised an eyebrow, my tone flat. Packing my things. Didn't you say I should move out? Mom opened and closed her mouth, not saying anything. I came back downstairs with my suitcase very quickly. There wasn't much to take. I left with the same things I had brought when I first came back from the countryside. Seeing how readily I agreed, everyone had different expressions. I have another apartment nearby. You can stay there for now, Noah said, putting a key on the table. Mom and Dad both looked surprised. After all, in this family, Noah was the only one who never gave me any face. Noah couldn't explain why he did this. He just saw that small figure carrying a little suitcase, looking so alone, and suddenly didn't want her to leave. But Bella would be scared. So he came up with this compromise. Don't move anything inside, don't bring anyone back, no pets allowed, not even plants. Also Dash. No need to trouble yourself. I've already booked a hotel. I cut him off. Noah seemed a bit surprised, not expecting me to refuse him. If this was me before the incident, I probably would have been overjoyed by now. But if it was before the incident, Bella wouldn't use this excuse to drive me away, and Noah wouldn't just let me stay at his place like this. There was no solution. Noah was visibly unhappy. He felt I was being ungrateful. You sure were quick to pack. Seems like you can't wait to leave, he said sarcastically. I had no reaction to his mocking tone. I just pulled my suitcase out the door. Noah stared at the key on the table for a long time, then suddenly snatched it up and threw it in a drawer. Bella sensed something was off. Everyone in the family seemed distracted. Noah said he was working overtime and hadn't come home for several days. As for Mom and Dad, they kept sighing while eating. Mrs. Wilson, I've been feeling a bit bloated lately. Could you make some of that health porridge you usually make for dinner? Mom said, rubbing her stomach. Ma'am, that wasn't made by me, the housekeeper replied. Bella wanted to interrupt, but the housekeeper had already spoken. That was made by Miss Aria. She was afraid you wouldn't eat it if you knew, so she said I made it. Mom's face went through a range of expressions before she finally said, Well, just make me some porridge, whatever kind. I'm going to rest for a bit. Bella watched Mom leave, then followed the housekeeper, insisting on learning how to make porridge. In the end, she nearly blew up the kitchen. By late evening, Mom still hadn't had a sip of porridge. She had no choice but to order takeout, barely touching it before going upstairs. The housekeeper told me everything that happened. Besides that, there were Mom's favorite flowers that I used to take care of. Soon after I left, Bella insisted on helping and ended up killing all the plants in the greenhouse. Dad ran out of his favorite tea leaves and couldn't find them anywhere. Only then did he realize I had brought them from my grandparents' home in the countryside. The housekeeper sent me many messages. I understood. She wanted to tell me the family needed me. I was unmoved. How come they never realized these things when I was around? Now they remembered me. But I no longer wanted to do those things. I still recommend you undergo psychological treatment. Your current symptoms, lack of emotional response, apathy, disinterest in people or things, are quite severe. Without intervention, it could potentially develop into antisocial personality disorder? I looked up, meeting the doctor's gaze. I'm impressed. You seem quite knowledgeable, he said. Zach pushed up the glasses on his nose. Just a bit. I'm in a good mood today, so I'm working more seriously. I hadn't expected to run into him at the local hospital for a follow-up appointment. Perhaps seeing my curiosity, Zach deigned to explain, This hospital belongs to my family. I nodded. The air fell silent. After some thought, I spoke up. I don't want to receive treatment. As a doctor, I respect your decision. But as a friend, may I ask why, he said. I didn't know how he defined friend. But in the end, I didn't contradict him. I don't think I need so many excess emotions. At least for now, having them would only make me more miserable. All right. Zach wrote down the diagnosis results on my chart. Normal. His handwriting was lean and graceful, somewhat like the impression he gave as a person. If you need anything in the future, you can come to me directly. Thank you. I wasn't surprised to see Noah when I got back. With the Wilson family's resources, it was impossible for them not to find me. Arya, come home with me. Mom and Dad miss you, Noah said, getting straight to the point. I'm not going back, I replied. Why? Noah grew agitated. How can you keep staying at a hotel like this? People will think our family mistreated you. Didn't you? I countered. Noah's expression darkened, as if remembering something. Seeing he had nothing more to say, I turned to buy coffee across from the hotel. Noah followed me out. I wanted to shake him off and walked very quickly. Watch out dash before I could react, a car came speeding towards me. The world suddenly moved in slow motion. The driver was Bella. Her face was full of hatred. I clearly saw what she mouthed. Go to hell, she said. In my peripheral vision, I could see Noah running towards me. Then I lost consciousness. Noah caught up, only to see me lying in a pool of blood. He looked at the person in the driver's seat in disbelief. Pain enveloped him. How could it be Bella? The surgery lasted 4 hours. Noah sat on the waiting room bench, half his body numb. Noah, how is she? Mom and Dad rushed over. Still in surgery, he replied. I meant how's Bella? Mom's face was full of anxiety. Noah suddenly doubted his own ears. Bella was the one driving the car that hit Arya. Mom, how can you ask about Bella when your biological daughter is still in the operating room? But Bella is my daughter too. Mom cried. She's at the police station, Noah said flatly. Why didn't you go with Bella to bail her out? Bella's been pampered all her life. How can she handle being in a place like that? I need to contact someone to ask about this. Mom fretted. Noah stared at his parents worrying about Bella. Memories flashed through his mind. Tears fell unexpectedly. No wonder Arya didn't want to come back. Dad, Mom, Arya lived in the countryside for 16 years. We never went to see her, Noah said quietly. The day before she came back, Bella suddenly got sick. She cried and said she was afraid we wouldn't love her anymore. We spent the whole night comforting her and missed picking up Arya. Later when you went out to buy things for Arya, you found Bella crying secretly. You gave all the gifts meant for Arya to her instead. Mom looked confused. What are you trying to say? Noah didn't reply, just muttering to himself. How could I think Arya would steal everything that belonged to Bella? We couldn't even treat them equally. The surgery light went off. I was wheeled out, still groggy from the anesthesia. Some time later, when I woke up, Dad, Mom and Noah were all by my bedside. It was a completely different experiencia from last time in the hospital. I opened my mouth, about to call out Dad. But he spoke first. Arya, please help Bella. Bella had been taken to the police station. After hitting me, she had tried to flee the scene but was caught on camera. According to the law, she had committed a hit and run. Mom and Dad were begging me to claim I had been attempting suicide. If I did that, Bella wouldn't be considered at fault in this incident. Cold saline dripped into my veins, chilling my whole body. So you're saying that after your daughter hit me with her car, I need to help her avoid punishment? I asked. Mom hurriedly came forward and grasped my other hand. She seemed startled by how cold it was. I know you feel wronged, but Bella is your sister after all. We can bring her back home, and you can scold her however you want, okay? I pulled my hand away. Every joint in my body ached dully. Don't even think about it. Arya Dash. Not only will I not speak up for her, I'm going to personally press charges against her. Mom shot to her feet. Arya Wilson, how dare you? What's all this noise? The patient needs rest. All non-essential personnel, please leave. A voice cut in. Mom dragged Dad out without looking back. Noah lingered to say, don't take what they said to heart. You can do whatever you want. Then he hurried after them. I saw him clutching something tightly in his hand. It was the jade pendant from his birthday, the one he had returned and I had thrown away. The doctor approached my bed. Are you still in pain? Can you move? I snapped. Is your hospital so short-staffed that psychologists have to cover the surgical ward now? Zach took off his mask, revealing that exquisite face. You're really something, you know that? I helped get rid of those people for you, and not only do you not thank me, you snap at me. What a temper. He leaned in closer, staring at my face for a moment. Good, your face is fine. You seem pretty disaster-prone. You were just discharged from the hospital a few days ago, and now you're back. Did you fall for me and are finding excuses to come to the hospital? He teased. If you're sick, get treatment, I retorted. Ah, you're so warm and caring about my health. He looked at my chart for a long time, then sighed. I knew my injuries weren't too serious, but repeated trauma would definitely have a significant impact on my body. Rest up and take it easy. No spicy food, nothing raw or cold. What a hassle, I complained. Zach fell silent, just giving me a resentful look. Me? Zach, you're really impossible. Me? It wasn't until that evening when he brought me dinner in a thermos that I understood what he meant. For the 2 days I was hospitalized, Zach brought me 3 meals a day. He said he was saving lives and helping the injured, Your sister has been charged, he said. I sipped my porridge. You seem pretty concerned about her. I overheard what your parents said that day. This morning they managed to get your sister out. My hand froze. Oh, I put her back in. My brain short-circuited for a moment. Huh, that's how us good-for-nothing illegitimate sons roll. Willing to spend a fortune for a pretty face. I had almost forgotten he was the young master of the Cloud family. The Wilsons won't let her stay in there for long. They'll definitely get her out again, I said. No worries, then I'll just put her back in again. Zach said it so casually, as if it was some kind of game. Hey, when's the court date? Do you need me to find you a capable lawyer? I have a lawyer. Your guy doesn't seem very good. Really, it's fine, I said, poking at the bottom of my bowl. How could he not be good? Mr. Zhao was an old friend of my maternal grandparents. All right, if you need help, come to me. I'm your guardian angel in white, Zach joked. I ignored his lame attempt at humor. Zach wasn't an idiot. If he was helping me like this, he must have other reasons. I voiced my doubts. The smile faded a bit from Zach's face. Do I have to have some ulterior motive? I thought for a moment. Otherwise it doesn't make sense. He seemed a bit disappointed. Fine, I do have an agenda, he admitted. What do you want me to do? I didn't like owing people favors. Zach packed up my empty dishes and winked at me. I'll tell you later. Soon it was time for the traffic accident trial. On Bella's side, the whole Wilson family had arrived, bringing 2 lawyers, quite an impressive show. In contrast, Mr. Zhao and I seemed pitifully outnumbered. After the court rules were read, we moved on to the plaintiff's statement, defendant's reply, and evidence presentation. Bella's lawyer confidently claimed I had suicidal tendencies. The plaintiff grew up in the countryside, estranged from Mr. and Mrs. Wilson. Our client, on the other hand, has a very good relationship with the family. The plaintiff once tried hard to repair her relationship with the Wilsons, but closeness isn't built overnight. Over time, the plaintiff felt there was no hope for familial affection. Seeing how the Wilsons favored our client, the plaintiff became jealous of her. In the end, she took extreme measures and attempted suicide. He certainly knew how to spin a tale. It was true that I was treated coldly by the Wilsons. If I was mentally fragile, having suicidal thoughts wouldn't be unreasonable. But he didn't know that I was no longer the person who would be upset by my parents' favoritism. I have absolutely no reason to commit suicide, I calmly replied. You're jealous that Mom and Dad love me. That's the reason, Bella interjected. I'm not. How is that possible? I often saw you crying secretly at home. Bella was determined to push the suicide angle and blurted out everything. She didn't notice that when she said this, the Wilsons' expressions became very grave. I turned to the judge. I was diagnosed with emotional indifference syndrome last month. The courtroom erupted in commotion. Everyone's face showed shock. Envy, jealousy, sadness. I don't have these emotions. I feel nothing towards the Wilsons' actions. Mr. Zhao spoke up. Your Honor, we have evidence. The staff quickly brought over a medical record. I lowered my gaze. It was the one Zach had written for me yesterday. Arya, why didn't you tell us? Noah cried out, devastated. So you really feel nothing, haha. Nothing at all. Bella suddenly burst into laughter. The judge called for order. The whole case was very straightforward. Once it was confirmed I had no suicidal tendencies, Bella could basically be convicted of a hit and run. Bella glared at me with venomous eyes, as if she wanted to strangle me on the spot. In the end, she was sentenced to 1 year in prison, suspended for 1 year. Arya Wilson, you've really done it this time, Bella snarled, her face extremely ugly. Even though she wouldn't actually have to go to jail if examined closely, she still had a criminal record now. Compared to her, Mom and Dad's expressions were much more complex. Arya, things have come to this point, can't we just let it go? Bella yanked Mom's arm hard, but Mom continued speaking. What family doesn't have some small conflicts? Now that Bella's been punished, why don't you come back home with Mom? My lawyer pulled out a document. Mr. and Mrs. Wilson, this is a severance of family ties agreement prepared by my client. Please take a look and sign if there are no issues. Arya, what do you mean by this? Dad asked. Exactly what it says. I don't want to be your daughter anymore. Why go to such extremes, Arya? What can't be resolved between family members? Don't be stubborn. Arya, if we've done anything wrong, Mom and Dad are apologizing to you now, okay? Bella grabbed Mom. Mom, what are you doing? She wants to sever ties with us. Just let her go. Shut up, Noah snapped. I directly took off my outer shirt, revealing a backless tank top underneath. I turned around, showing my back covered in scars. I heard someone sharply inhale. Some of these are from the kidnapping beatings, some are from this recent car accident. They vary in depth, but they all hurt. Arya. I couldn't be bothered to look at everyone's expressions. My gaze fell on the agreement. I did lose my emotions, but I didn't lose my sense of pain. These wounds hurt a lot when it rains. I don't mind your favoritism or that you don't love me, but I don't want to keep suffering. I've already signed. Please do so quickly. With that, I started packing up to leave. Bella's hatred was mixed with a hint of excitement. Think carefully. Without the identity of a Wilson daughter, you'll be worthless. The Cloud family won't let you in their door. I glanced at her. Isn't that what you want? You, Arya Wilson, will see about that, Bella said. Bella's face wore a victorious smile, as if she could already see how I would be scorned by the Cloud family once I lost my Wilson identity. After much back and forth between Mr. Zhao and the Wilson parents, Noah finally made the decision, and the Wilson family signed the papers. Mr. Zhao handed the documents to me. With this, my task is complete. I haven't let down your grandparents. From now on, just live a good life, child. I held those 2 light pieces of paper, yet they felt incredibly heavy. Heavy enough to finally anchor my drifting self to the ground, allowing me to run free. I was no longer anyone's daughter. I was just myself. At Cloud Corporation, the Wilsons have severed ties with Arya. I've arranged for you to meet the Chun family's daughter this weekend, Mr. Cloud said to Zach. Zach frowned. I won't go. I won't marry anyone but her. Then you no longer have me as a father. Fine by me. Zach walked out of the company building with a clear handprint on his right cheek. But his expression seemed relaxed. How did it go? Smoothly. I asked. The old man kicked me out. Shares company, none of it has anything to do with me now. Then you can start your plan. Congratulations. I was Zach's excuse to openly leave Cloud Corporation. He wanted to extract himself, then send the Cloud family to tread water. You're quite ruthless yourself, I remarked sincerely. Zach's mother had been killed by the Cloud family. From the moment he was old enough to understand, he had been determined to get revenge. To gather enough evidence against Cloud Corp to take them down in one fell swoop, Zach had bided his time for 20 years. Now that the Cloud chairman was getting on in years and wanted to leave Zach some shares, Zach showed zero interest. He was single-mindedly focused on bringing down the Cloud family. What are you talking about? I'm just a pure-hearted youth eloping for love, Zach said, rubbing his right cheek and tilting his head. You were smiling just now, weren't you? Are you mocking me? No, you saw wrong, I said, picking up my water glass to hide my smile. You definitely smiled. How boring. Hey, isn't boredom a kind of emotional feeling too? Right. Get lost. I denied it verbally, but inside I realized that it seemed like some kind of restraint had been lifted. All those lost emotions were gradually coming back. In less than a month, Cloud Corp collapsed. The behemoth that had dominated this city for years suddenly crumbled. Along with it fell several other wealthy families that had long depended on Cloud Corp. This included Wilson Corp. Overnight, companies went bankrupt, factories shut down, and mansions were auctioned off. The once high and mighty tycoons became no different from ordinary people. This meant little to most people, but for those used to lives of luxury, it was like going from heaven to hell. Bella cried, wanting to keep her dresses and handbags. Mrs. Wilson couldn't bear to see it. Can't we just let her keep a few things? She pleaded. Mr. Wilson looked like he had aged a decade in the past month. You think I want to do this? But if we don't auction these off, how will we pay the fines? The huge fines for economic crimes coupled with the company's bankruptcy left a hole the Wilsons couldn't fill even if they emptied out their entire fortune. Cloud Corp was likely even worse off. Zach hadn't shown any mercy. Noah had run away without taking anything. No one knew where he went. Before he left, he had sent me a message. Just 3 words. I'm sorry. He had some luck, barely escaping disaster. But his luck was limited. Because yesterday, Zach had already tracked down his address. For some reason, Zach seemed to really hate the Wilson family too. Arya Wilson. Bella spotted me, her voice shrill. What are you doing here? You harbinger of bad luck. Everything changed when you came back. I hate you, why won't you just die? Mr. and Mrs. Wilson grabbed her, covering her mouth. The look in their eyes as they gazed at me was wary, mixed with emotions I couldn't decipher. Little, do you need something? Mr. Wilson asked. Just came to see how you're doing, I replied. Mrs. Wilson's expression showed a hint of being moved. Came to see you make fools of yourselves. I finished my sentence. Bella lunged at me. Shut up, you bitch. She thrashed around on the ground, crawling towards me as Mr. and Mrs. Wilson struggled to hold her back. This was the first time I had seen her look so disheveled. Mrs. Wilson wrestled with herself for a long time before speaking. I know you hate us. She burst into tears, unable to finish a sentence. Hate? Before the kidnapping, I only felt sad. After the kidnapping, I had no emotions. Now looking at them, I just felt grateful. Grateful I didn't grow up in a family like this. Grateful I met the best grandparents I could have asked for. Take care, all of you, I said. I turned to leave, getting into the Maybach parked by the curb. The Wilson family stood on the sidewalk, their expressions complex. Happy? Feel good? Zach asked as he fastened my seatbelt. It's all right, I said. He leaned in and kissed me. How about now? I raised my hand. See this palm? I see it. It's feeling a bit itchy right now. I was about to bring my hand down when Zach grabbed it. You're too violent. I liked you better when you had no emotions. You didn't react at all when I teased you. Now you're resorting to domestic violence. Get lost, I said, but there was no bite to my words.